This is Christmas of 2024, and it is my honest belief that we are standing on the edge of no return. The facts are that you have poisoned the earth and polluted the earth and are mutilating nature at such a degree that the chance of overcoming what has already been done will soon be forever gone. And that's because we cannot create life, even though the universities promised they were going to do it. They want to, just take information from plants and fish and birds and butterflies and everything else and plug it into everything else. And that includes you. They want to make birdmen and fishmen and spidermen and all kinds of things because they believe that they can actually be God, creator of things, by simply mixing it all together. They don't understand this is not a simple thing, and they don't understand anything other than perhaps computers. And if I said to the university that their computer is just the reality of chaos did this, or it's just strictly a complete accident that did this, they would laugh and say, what a stupid fool I am. But the other part of that is, if you look at life, and you look at everything living means and what it requires and all of that, and say, as they do, that evolution or chaos did this, and accidents are the reason that life exists, I will call them a complete fool, and I will be right. And that's just the facts of the matter. So we cannot agree on the things that are very important, but we can recognize what is true about being wrong. And being wrong means that we can't come back from this. Once you're dead, you're dead. Or once this planet is dead, it no longer functions as a living organism, but as just bits and pieces here and there that can't survive together. We're all dead at that point. So it is very important that humanity recognizes in this America and across the world that there is a point of no return, that there is a moment when we cannot exist anymore, because we just simply have allowed people who think they can be God to go too far and end our lives forever. And that is certainly true. Those who are trying to say to you and have said to you and have built trillions of dollars of experiments with your money to try to recreate the fire that's on the sun here on this earth. They don't call it fire because that might scare you. So they call it other things, and they think they're going to be God. And what better way to prove you're God than to mutilate nature into something else or play with the sun? Only God can do that, right? So they intend to prove that they're God, and of course they can't. After all, they are just former classmates, blanketed over with, I got a diploma. But that just means that they mimicked, memorized, and repeated what they were told to do. And so it is a cult. You can't question the leader. You can't question the leader. The courts will tell you that. The university is the expert. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what they gamble with. It doesn't matter the lives that will be lost or anything, because they believe they are right. And consequently, belief is a terrible thing. Pride is a terrible thing. And power is an even worse thing. So we have a democracy, a point of no return in this democracy, a point of no return on this world or this planet, or a point of no return on nature. When mutilated too far, it cannot come back. If somebody cut off your arm, you're going to get that back? No, you're not. But they don't understand that because they're too stupid. They're a cult. And cults are stupid. That's what they do. Only the leader can decide anything. And that, of course, is communism, which is only the leaders decide everything. and that is the insurgency that has taken over this United States. Only the leader, only the diploma, the university diploma gets to decide on anything. They are the leader, they are the expert, they are the everything. Just ask any courtroom, as I did. So they'll all tell you that it's the university that decides. It's not you, it's not reality, it's not truth, it's not evidence, it's none of those things. It's just the university decides, and the university is your former classmate. Covered over, hidden under the blanket, that is a university diploma. After all, once you got a diploma, you're a god, right? You know everything, right? Or you know just one tiny little thing, right? Well, that isn't true either. Because a lot of them, or the university is about selling things. They don't get to be employed if they don't sell things. So they find something to sell. They put it out in society, and if it goes, it goes, and if it doesn't, they take it away and try something else. So every fantasy that they can come up with, kind of like religion, whatever fantasy works for you is whatever fantasy will be pushed. And whatever fantasy you're willing to accept, that's the fantasy that they're going to claim. But behind all those beliefs and all that want is the reality of what they do. And what they do is threaten life on earth. So we need to understand that we have to stand up for life. We have to stand up for planet. We have to stand up for children. And we have to stand up for every living thing on this planet. Because if we don't, we're going to lose it all. And so I'm trying to use every form and fashion, every method of contacting you, trying to wake you up, trying to shake you in some form or fashion, so that you can, in fact, become aware that we need to know what is true. We absolutely need to know what is true. And the only way that we can actually do that with any degree of success is to go to court. Because, if we go to court and do it out in front of everyone, no closed doors, everyone, then we can, provide the best evidence that we possibly can. We can imprison those who lied to us on purpose. And we can do all that we can do so that we all, as best we can understand what the cost of being wrong is. And in this nation, that's not going to happen with the leadership of the United States. That's certainly not going to happen with Trump. There's none of that going to happen. The last 50 years prove that is so. Every court case I was ever in proves that is so. It's not going to happen. So we have to have a different path, a different solution. And that solution is constitutional law. And the Constitution of the United States is our contract agreement with each other to unify or become a United States, because we believe in these particular things. And those are in the preamble of the Constitution. And those are in the amendments of the Constitution. And what is in between that are the rules of governing by our employees, or what they're allowed or not allowed to do. So we have First Amendment redress of grievances, which is together we can insist that this is going in the wrong direction and that we need to do something for ourselves. That's the purpose of redress of grievances. It's just as important as freedom of religion or freedom of the press or freedom of whatever it was. So, I push and have told you that for the last 50 years, because things have to change. But for 50 years all you had was greed. You just wanted more and more and more. And of course, resource depletion, which is the method by which we survive. We need resources to survive. Without resources there is only desert, and none of us survive. So you throw them all away and created mountains of debris, pollution everywhere, poisoned by the trillion ton, dumped on top of the water supply, and have no concept of reality at all, because the universities lead. The universities, decide for government. The universities decide for media. The universities decide for everything, because they have a diploma. So we have to pull off their diploma and look at what is the evidence of what is true. What is true? Don't believe me, don't believe them, don't believe. Believe is just whatever you want to be true. It has nothing to do with actual reality. It's just belief. So we need to accept the idea that let the evidence decide. Let truth be identified as best we can, so that what our knowledge allows us to choose will be an understanding of where our future will go. And that is, critically important at this stage. And for 50 years, it was less important than it is today, because we stand at the edge of COVID gave the universities all the money they wanted, to mutilate everything. You gave them that without so much as the shred of evidence. Just gave them that. And of course, Nazis appeared at the same time, because with COVID you got a complete takeover by government, a complete takeover by anybody that's in leadership, and there are Nazis throughout, demanding you will obey what I tell you, or we will see to it that you starve, or whatever they had in mind. Your children were not safe, your job was not safe, nothing was safe, because they were Nazis. Which simply means, this is the group that hasn't had power for a time, and they want power. And that's all there is. I mean, it has nothing to do with the name, it has nothing to do with Germany, it's just they want power. And that is seen throughout every form of history, throughout all of the entire world and human history. They want power. And we need to take away the power. That's what democracy is for, to take away the power of making us do what we would otherwise not do. And while there might be a plan in the idea that maybe we need to recognize COVID as a threat, but we have to do that by recognizing the evidence, not by listening to a damn asshole that claims to be university god. They're not gods. They don't know. They, in fact, released the biological warfare against us. This is absolute certainty. There isn't any doubt. They have been trying to create biological weapons against us for 20 years at least, and longer than that for major things. So you need to go to court under the constitutional law that this is our democracy. It's not their democracy. They're not the ruler. They're not the king. They're not God. They're not anything but our employee. And that, of course, goes for Trump too. He's not our ruler. He is our employee. And we need to understand that it is our decision to make him obey the constitutional law to which he swears that he will obey. Or, we need to use the punishment that is allowed to take him out. Not, kill him or something, but to remove him from office. Whether or not our lawmakers, which is a terrible term, there should be no such thing as lawmakers. While it was important in the 1800s, it is not important today. We can decide for ourselves. We don't need someone to decide for us. We don't need to vote for someone to vote for us. We can vote for ourselves. And that is a very critical thing. We can vote for ourselves, but if you don't understand what is true rather than what you believe, your vote will be worthless, or less than worthless. It will be in the wrong direction, because they're going to try to manipulate you to believe whatever they want you to believe. Evidence and truth has nothing to do with leadership. It doesn't. It has nothing to do with leadership. They want the power to make you do whatever it is they decide. And that, of course, makes them think that they are gods, which, of course, makes them think that they can judge you and even kill you or imprison you or whatever it is they want to do. Because the fact of the matter is that people with weapons try to make you do whatever they want you to do. with the threat that I'm going to kill you if you don't. That is their final power. I'm going to kill you if you don't. But of course, the end result of what they're doing today with mutilating nature and everything else is that they're killing themselves as well. They are impoverished themselves as well. All the money that is in America is counterfeit, and debts that they have created can't be paid. There's no reality in them, not at all. So we need to understand that money is just a promise, and so we need to remove the promises that people made that cannot be kept. We need to do that on our own. We need to bankrupt this nation on our own, and we, the people, will tell the banks and whatever powerful people there are what they get, not what we get. Well, we'll decide what we get too. That's the deal.